Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to learn about three states of matter. And we know matter exists in three main physical states: solid, liquid, and gas. Let's first discuss about solid state. We know solids are one of the three main states of matter. They have some unique properties that make them different from liquids and gases. So first property of solids is they have a definite shape. It means solids have a fixed shape that does not change on its own. What is the reason behind their fixed shape? Particles of solids are tightly packed, and these particles can't move freely, and they only vibrate at their fixed positions. And examples include a wooden cube, iron rod. Whether it's a wooden cube or iron rod, they retain their shape unless some external forces applied. The main reason behind their definite shape is strong intermolecular force. Second property is solids have a definite volume. So definite volume means they occupy a fixed amount of space. Their volume does not change easily even when you change the container. Let us understand this by an example. If you place a block of ice in a bowl, it doesn't spread out like water. Why? Because its volume remains the same. The particles in solids are very closely packed, leaving very little space between them. This makes solids dense and heavy compared to liquids and gases. We know a piece of iron is much heavier than an equal volume of air or water. And what is the reason behind this? Their high density. Okay. Fourth property of solids is incompressibility. Solids cannot be compressed easily. Since particles are already very close, there is no room to squeeze them further. Think about a wooden block. We cannot compress it, or a metal spoon by hand because of their incompressibility. Fifth property of solids is rigidity. Solids are rigid, meaning they resist any change in shape or size. When you apply force, they may break but will not flow or bend easily. A glass tumbler breaks when hit. It doesn't bend like rubber. Sixth property of solids is their strong intermolecular force. Strong intermolecular force means the force of attraction between solid particles are very strong, keeping them fixed in position. That's why solids don't flow or spread. Seventh property of solids is their particles are closely packed. In solids, particles are arranged in a regular orderly pattern or irregularly. The distance between particles is minimum, making them tightly bound. When particles are arranged in a regular fashion, it is also known as crystalline form. And when they are arranged in irregular pattern, it is known as amorphous. Eighth and last property of solids is they have a slow diffusion process. We know diffusion means mixing of particles. So in solids, it occurs very slowly, and the reason behind this is their particles are not free to move. However, at higher temperatures, some diffusion can occur. When zinc and copper atoms are heated to form brass, they show very slow mixing. And the reason behind this is particles are not free to move. Okay. So these are some important properties of solids. So here are some questions. First question is, what about a rubber band? Can it change its shape on stretching? Is it a solid? The first question is rubber band a solid? We know rubber band seems flexible. Why? Because it can change its shape when stretched. However, once the force is removed, it returns to its original shape. This means it has a definite shape and volume under normal conditions. Hence, a rubber band is a solid. So it can change shapes due to the elasticity of its material. Second question is, what about sugar and salt? When kept in different jars, these take the shape of the jar. Are these solid? The sugar and salt are made up of tiny solid crystals. And each crystal has a definite shape. When we pour sugar or salt in a jar, it seems to take the shape of the container, but in reality, the individual crystals remain solid and do not change their shape. So what changes is the arrangement of the crystals, not their individual form. Okay, so sugar and salt are the type of crystalline solids. Third question is, what about a sponge? It is a solid, yet we are able to compress it. So the question is, we know sponge is a solid, but how it is able to compress it? And the reason is sponge has tiny holes that we call pores, and these pores are filled with air. So when we press it, the air inside gets pushed out, making it compressible. And once we release the pressure, air fills the pores again and the sponge returns to its original shape. So we can see that sponge is a porous solid. It can be compressed because of air-filled pores, not because it is not solid. Okay, now let's move to another state of matter, that is liquid. We know liquids are the intermediate state of matter between solids and gases. And liquids of particles that are loosely packed compared to solids but closer than in gases. The first property of liquid is liquids have no definite shape. Unlike solids, liquids are not tightly bound. They can move or slide past one another. And because of this, they take the shape of the container they are poured into. However, their volume remains constant. It means their volume doesn't change. When water is poured into a glass, it takes the shape of the glass. When water is poured into bowl, it takes its shape. So what is the reason behind this? Particles of liquids are not tightly bound. Just like solids, they also have a definite or fixed volume. Their particles are also close enough to each other to maintain a definite amount of space. They cannot be compressed much, but they can flow. Let's take an example. 100 ml of milk remains 100 ml, right? Whether it's in a cup or a jug. Third properties of liquid is liquids can flow easily, and this property is called fluidity, where liquid can flow easily from one place to another. And why it is so? Because liquids have weaker intermolecular forces. Just like water, oil and juice all flow smoothly when poured. Fourth property of liquids is liquids diffuse faster than solids. Why? Because their particles move more freely and diffusion becomes faster at higher temperatures that were discussed in a previous class. So when you put a drop of ink in water, it slowly spreads and color the water. Liquids have a surface film due to cohesive forces. between surface particles. Particles of liquid can attach to each other and to the wall of any container. This causes phenomena like water droplets forming a spherical shape. A small insect can walk on the surface of water due to surface tension. And last property of liquid is liquids can change into vapors from the surface even below the boiling point, and this process is known as evaporation. And this process of evaporation occurs faster at higher temperature, larger surface area, and low humidity. We know wet clothes dry faster on a hot and windy day. And also wet clothes dry faster when there is sunny day or when there is low humidity. Now let's learn about properties of gases. Gases are least dense and most compressible state of matter. Their particles are very far apart and move freely in all directions with high speed. Because of this, gases don't have a fixed shape or volume and can expand, compress and diffuse rapidly. The first property of gases is they have no definite shape and volume. And because of this, they completely fill the container they are in. We know air fills up the entire balloon or a room, taking its shape and volume. Second property of gases is gases are highly compressible. And the reason behind this is gases have a large amount of empty space. So LPG cylinders, oxygen cylinders and deoccans contain compressed gas. And third property of gases is they diffuse rapidly. Gases mix evenly and quickly. With other gases, this process is called diffusion. Diffusion in gases is the fastest among all states of matter. And the reason behind this is gas particles move at high speed and they have weak intermolecular forces. Fourth property of gases is they have very low density, and the reason behind this is their particles are spread far apart. A balloon filled with helium gas floats because helium is less dense than air. And fifth property of gases is there is no fixed arrangement of particles. So gas particles are randomly arranged and move freely in all directions. So this gives gases fluidity, allowing them to flow easily just like liquids. Air flows in and out of a room freely through an open window. And sixth property is the force of attraction between gas particles are extremely weak. This is why gases expand easily and do not stick together. And last property of gases is gases expand on heating and compress on cooling. Their volume and pressure change with temperature. A balloon capped in the sun expands due to heat. These were the properties of solids, liquids and gases. The solids have definite shape and volume, liquids have definite volume but no definite shape, and gases have neither definite shape nor definite volume. That's all for today. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you.